This bulletin proudly brought to you in association with Alex Campbell's Menswear.
Tonight on The South Today, southern businesses are concerned with level 2 COVID-19 restrictions, but the Chamber of Commerce is recommending calm. The Bert Monroe weekend comes to a close, one of the last major public gatherings before the latest COVID restrictions. And rods and tackle are to the fore at an annual fishing competition. Tēnā koutou katoa, ngā mihi o te ahiahi nei, kia ora, I'm Simon Anderson. As the country settles in for more uncertainty following an outbreak of COVID-19 in Auckland, businesses in the south are waiting to see the impact that 3 days of level 2 restrictions will have.
Central Dunedin streets quiet today as residents and business owners come to terms with more COVID-19 restrictions. However, the Otago Chamber of Commerce says we've been here before, but admits the 3 days of level 2 restrictions will have an impact.
We're used to what this means for level 2, probably had to dust it off a little bit, but for many businesses it means that we can continue business more or less as usual, but for some businesses it's a big impact.
Nikki Aldridge-Masters says people can still shop, but everyone should scan in using the COVID Tracer app and use sanitising stations at retailers' entrances. Staff at Crazy Deals in Monroe Place say face masks are becoming scarce.
Yeah, it's had impact. Like this morning, like couple customer came in and asked, like they want to buy like those kind of masks and also like fabric masks as well. But we don't have in stock at the moment. I think we're gonna order some more.
Genome sequencing for 2 of the community cases in Auckland show that people have the COVID-19 variant B1.1.7 first detected in the UK. The Chamber of Commerce says the effect of this period will be much greater on the city's economy if the University of Otago's orientation is cancelled.
But I would hope that most of the students would be here already and we'd be able to find an opportunity for them to celebrate Orientation Week in different ways, but it would have a big impact on our economy. It is a major income boost for the area and it's something that we look forward to as a region every year.
Dunedin musician and student Carl Brinsden has a few performances lined up with his band Saurian during orientation, but says that now feels like it's up in the air.
Level 2 is a bit of a worry because as a student it sort of makes classes a bit tricky and makes public transport a wee bit of a worry. But yeah, hopefully we'll be out of it after the 3 days that they've said, but if not then O week's looking a bit sad.
The latest restrictions are set to last until midnight Wednesday 17th February, but the government says the threat level will be reviewed every 24 hours. In Dunedin, The South Today.
And the rollout of the COVID-19 vaccine in Otago and Southland may begin within a fortnight. The government has announced the first batch of Pfizer-BioNTech COVID-19 vaccines arrived in New Zealand this morning. Border control workers have been prioritised for vaccination, followed by household contacts of those workers. This means port workers and Queenstown airport staff, as well as their immediate households, will be first in line to receive the vaccine. Once the vaccine is made available to the wider public, vaccination options through GPs' clinics, pop-up centres, large-scale stadiums or drive-through events will be considered. Invercargill streets came to life with the hum of bikes once more with this year's annual Bert Monroe Challenge. Local businesses benefited from the surge of visitors following a year affected by COVID-19, and the weekend's mass gathering was amongst the last before the return to level 2 status.
Invercargill's Bert Monroe Challenge events were among the last large-scale public gatherings before the country went into level 2 COVID-19 restrictions. Organisers say a large number of people took full advantage of the weekend's events.
As you can see, this is the rally site, so this is a huge part of the run for the boys. Town is packed, so we've got to put, about 2,000 to 2,500 people need to sleep somewhere, so this is where they come, from motorhomes to tents. It's fantastic.
Event manager Claire Witham says around 2,500 people camped at the site. The Oreti Park Speedway track had a thorough workout over the weekend, with a wide range of motorcycle events being held.
Today we've got the 15th Bert Monroe Speedway Spectacular. We are a bike-only speedway track at the bottom of the country, and we've got grades right from peewees through to the sidecars.
Oreti Park Speedway President Natasha King says the Bert Monroe Challenge brings a huge crowd to the south. Invercargill's Licensing Trust Chief Executive Chris Ramsey says it's great to hear the rumble of bikes in Invercargill again, whose riders set cash registers ringing. Southern Dragways President Rhys Jones says it's the 4th year of drag racing as part of the Bert Monroe weekend of events.
Fine with the Bert Monroe, this is our 4th year of doing drag racing, and we always find that the riders and the participants and the competitors support the event, drag racing. Bert Monroe never drag raced as such. He was a keen sprint racer. He would do quarter miles and flying and standing quarter miles all around the country, and very successfully. So we race side by side here. It's typical American drag racing, and normally we would race here with cars and bikes during the year, but we really look forward to the Bert Monroe because it really is the spirit of motorcycling alive in the south.
Riders and enthusiasts travelled to Invercargill from across New Zealand, some riding down from Auckland. Big events can sometimes create social issues. However, Southern Police say they were pleased with how the weekend has been running. In Invercargill, the South Today.
Otago Polytechnic is defending having spent nearly $8 million on travel over the last 5 years. This comes after criticism by the Auditor General. Former Otago Polytechnic Chief Executive Phil Kerr racked up nearly $200,000 in travel costs over the last 5 years at the institution. Auditor General John Ryan found one trip to a Japanese technical college comprised of a group of 21 people, with many lacking strong reason for attending. Most activities would be described as sightseeing and cultural experience tours. In an official response this week, the Polytechnic says at the time the trip was justified. The Polytech says it was important for staff to understand the culture of international students attending the institution. A record number of anglers turned out for this year's Family Fishing Classic held at Lake Hawea. And while salmon catches were a drop in the bucket to recent years, brown and rainbow trout numbers made a splash.
12-year-old Sarah Doherty weighs in the rainbow and brown trout that she and her father caught in this year's Lake Hawea Family Fishing Classic. Calm, sunny weather meant for a record number of just over 400 entries, keeping Otago Fish and Game Officer Paul Van Klink busy all day weighing and measuring the fish brought in.
It's going good. It's been steady all day since, what did we start? About 10 past 2. Getting a lot of information on what people are catching out in the lake, lengths and weights, so very good information for Fish and Game. Yeah, and it can, I think, I'd have to say the catch rate's a lot better than previous years. There's been a lot of fish weighed already, and we've got another hour to go, so it looks like it's going to be a record day all round.
The fish stocks in lakes such as Hawea are maintained by Fish and Game, with one introduced fish species not very prevalent in this year's catch.
The number of salmon being caught is way down on previous years, yeah, to be fair to say. Usually there's a few salmon get weighed, but we haven't had too many today.
The competition, which has been running since the 1990s, gives out first, second and third prizes for heaviest rainbow trout, brown trout and salmon, plus family-friendly categories such as heaviest fish caught by a child and the best genuine hard luck story. The event raises quite a few $1,000s each year, which is distributed back to the local community. In Lake Hawea, the South Today.
Still to come on the South Today, Queenstown's new fire station opens for business, and we get a guided tour of Dunedin's new 5-star restaurant kitchen. Ka kite au konei.
Inside are all sorts of innovations from all over China.
If at risk of developing melanoma skin cancer, you owe it to yourself to have a mole map. Mole map is coming to your area. Phone today to make an appointment. It could save your life.
A poorly maintained heat pump can lose up to 35% of its output. The Mr. Heat Pump Cleaner team are experts. Their specially developed chemical wash is totally biodegradable. Call Mr. Heat Pump Cleaner and get the job done by the professionals.
TV, our favourite babysitter, but it can be tough keeping up with what our tamariki are watching. Luckily, the Broadcasting Standards Authority has made some smart changes to the classification labels. Ooh! Plus changes to the time of day certain rated shows will air, and awesome new parental lock features, meaning your babysitter's job is safe. Find out more at safeviewing.co.nz.
Hino ranga tira mā, welcome back. The wellbeing of winemakers will be examined in workshops to be held in Central Otago next month. The workshops are part of a nationwide series of wellbeing workshops funded by the Ministry for Primary Industries. MPI has allocated $40,000 for 12 wellbeing workshops in winemaking regions starting in March. The workshops come after a challenging 12 months for the industry, with labour supply issues and market uncertainty caused by COVID-19. Wine is New Zealand's 6th largest export industry, with exports hitting $2 billion last year. Volunteer firefighters in Queenstown can now feel safe in their newly refurbished fire station. The building, which has been brought up to a 5-star earthquake rating, is now officially open.
Queenstown's newly refurbished fire station is a far cry from some of its earlier iterations, with $4 million having been spent to upgrade the building to a 5-star earthquake rating. Work on the station was completed last October, and the public got to explore the much improved facility when it was opened by Internal Affairs Minister Jan Tinetti. Apart from the earthquake strengthening, upgrades also include separating the locker room, expanding the operations room, creating more space for training, refurbishing social rooms and adding more bedrooms. The number of crew members living at the station at all times has been boosted from 4 to 6, with 2 further spare bedrooms available. At present, of the 50 volunteers in Queenstown, over a quarter of them are women, which is up from the national average. And with the majority of volunteers coming from overseas, it's one of the most diverse brigades in the country. In Queenstown, the South Today.
Another 5-star story. Working in Dunedin's first 5-star hotel kitchen is a long way from Darren Smith's beginning as a car painter. His southern roots remain, though, as expressed by one particular menu option, the cheese roll. He tells Rebecca Fox about his journey.
It's hard to imagine southern sushi, otherwise known as the humble cheese roll, having any place whatsoever in a 5-star restaurant. However, car painter cum chef Darren Smith is proof the southern delicacy can be haute cuisine.
So you don't get any more south than a cheese roll or a whitebait fritter. Unfortunately, there was no whitebait at the season, wrong season. So I threw a cheese roll at him, and All our Auckland head office, can't get over the cheese roll thing.
He says his bosses approve of the Southern touch, and Dunedin chefs take notice. Smith plans to enter the city's cheese roll making competition in 2022. Smith is the head chef at new Dunedin restaurant The Press Club at Fable Dunedin, the former Wayne's Hotel, and he says he's familiar with this kitchen.
Fable Hotel, what was Wayne's Hotel, was also one of my rent chef clients. Right. So for the last 3 years, anytime general manager had a night function or something like that, rent chef got called in. Yeah. Quite often they did the manager's lunch, what they call it, all the general managers from all the hotels in town. Yeah. They all have turns about it, hosting it. So when it was the Wayne's Hotel turn, I used to come in and do it.
As he has a sweet tooth, he says one of the features of the Press Club is right up his alley, along with being a fitting addition to five-star cuisine.
It's a lot of Dunedin hasn't been doing it, so there is a call for it. As soon as people start seeing what we're doing, people are going to love it. It's just those finishing touches that bring it to the five-star that some of the others don't have.
The historic Wayne's Hotel building has long been a place hosting the finer things in life. But the hotel backers spent $10 million on a facelift as part of its pitch to become a five-star hotel. In Dunedin, the South Today.
After the break on the South Today, a Dunedin teen is disappointed his fundraising mission has been delayed again, and we look at the early week's weather. Hea koko ake nei.
What have you got? Okay. Chicks World, party time, excellent. Love it. Chicks World. Chicks World. Right.
Welcome to Alex Campbell Menswear. Our 3 stores have no shortage of stock. Check these out. We've got the Dunedin print t-shirts. Check out our zillions of short sleeve shirts. These are crackers. They iron themselves in the wash. Iron cheetah they're called. And there's some really cool polo shirts. Look at all the bright colours. And of course there's no shortage of shorts. This is always one of our brightest corners. Our long sleeve fashion shirts. Jeans, casual trousers, dress trousers, you name it, we have you covered.
Alex Campbell Menswear, it fits.
So if you're shopping for your family or yourself, come and see Alex Campbell Menswear stores. We're full of stock.
A poorly maintained heat pump can lose up to 35% of its output. The Mr. Heat Pump Cleaner team are experts. Their specially developed chemical wash is totally biodegradable. Call Mr. Heat Pump Cleaner and get the job done by the professionals.
If you're at risk of developing melanoma skin cancer, you owe it to yourself to have a mole map. Mole map is coming to your area. Phone today to make an appointment. It could save your life.
No mai noa. A marathon rowing trip around the South Island to raise funds for the New Zealand Breast Cancer Foundation has been postponed again. 19-year-old University of Otago student Ben Mason has been advised to hold off his trip by both the search and rescue volunteers and police. Initially he planned to begin the journey in early January, but foul weather forced postponement. His new starting date was yesterday, but rescue experts again advised the weather would be more stable at the end of March and heading into winter. Mason hopes to raise about $20,000 for breast cancer. And now recapping tonight's top stories on the South today. Southern businesses are concerned with level 2 COVID-19 restrictions, but the Chamber of Commerce is recommending calm. The Bert Monroe weekend came to a close yesterday. It was one of the last major public gatherings before the latest COVID restrictions took effect. And rods and tackle were to the fore at an annual fishing competition at Lake Hawea. And now for a look at what's happening in tomorrow's ODT, we have editor Barry Stewart with us this evening. Kia ora, Barry.
Hello Simon, and welcome to Level 2. And of course that has raised a lot of uncertainty amongst organisations and companies with events planned, and some of them are on tenterhooks as to whether they will actually take place. Many a Toto AMP show, which was scheduled to be held on Wednesday, has been cancelled. And Southern Institute of Technology have cancelled this week's orientation event. So there's lots of events that were scheduled, and people are uncertain as to what will unfold. Yeah. But I guess we'll know a wee bit more on Wednesday. But uncertain and unsettling times. But
sure.
we move on. Bit of controversy down south. A gentleman's agreement between agreement to host two major Southland events on different weeks has been broken, and the clash between the Bert Monroe Challenge and Field Days is set to hit the pockets of Southland's business community. The Field Days have scheduled a weekend which was normally the preserve of Bert Monroe Challenge, so that's going to cause some controversy down there. They are meeting to sort it out, so we'll see what happens there. DCC held a meeting today, and the councillors praised the staff for efforts on lead contamination and criticised the media for its coverage.
Right, okay.
So that and lots more.
Very good, Barry. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And time now for a look at the weather.
Tonight's weather proudly brought to you by Mole Map.
Starting with today's southern view of a window cleaner suspended above Monroe Place. A cold southerly airflow eases over the region tomorrow, the weather clearing and a cold night likely. Warmer weather with plenty of sunshine lines up for the rest of the week. Starting off at the northwest of the South Island, Greymouth and Westport get the first of the fine weather on 19 and 22 degrees. Similar temperatures up top, but with grey rather than blue skies. 18 for Blenheim, 22 for Nelson. And as we travel south, the temperatures do too. 14 degrees and rain for Kaikoura, 14 in Christchurch too, but with cloud. And it's an overcast 13 degrees for Ashburton. To the southern towns, light southeasterlies brush across this region and the rest before becoming fine. Still cool, 15 degrees in Gore, 14 everywhere else. In central, breezy, fine and cool here too, 14 degrees for Wanaka and Queenstown, 15 for Alexandra, and Te Anau the warmest on 16. To the northern towns, cloud accompanies those light winds in Timaru and Oamaru, both on 14 degrees, and the winds are only slightly stronger inland before becoming fine, Twizel and Omarama on 15 degrees. In Dunedin, rain clears tonight and gusty southerlies decrease, an overnight low of 8. Mostly cloudy tomorrow, though expect some patches of sun. The southeasterly visits here too, 14 and 5 degrees. And finally, fine on Wednesday, with northeast winds, a high of 18 and a low of 5 degrees. And in Invercargill, showers and winds ease tonight here too, an overnight low of 7 degrees. A cool and cloudy day tomorrow, Southerly winds disperse the cloud and sun should peek through later before the wind lightens too. A high of 15 and a low of 3. Fine and sunny on Wednesday with light winds and milder temperatures, a high of 19 and a low of 5. And that's the news this Monday. For the latest news from the southern region, head online to odt.co.nz and follow Channel 39 on Facebook and YouTube. Nō reira, kia pai te pō, ka kite anō.
This bulletin proudly brought to you in association with Alex Campbell's Menswear.
Supporting local content so you can see more of New Zealand on air.